You have tuned into the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Julio. Hey everybody, this is the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Julio. Let's get you caught up in the NFL. All right, we got Von Miller, former linebacker and veteran, age 37, making a stab at trying to get back on the Denver Broncos. He wants one last run. In a recent podcast on 89, Steve Smith's podcast, he was talking about how he had offer sheets from Washington and Seattle last year. He didn't go with Seattle, which the later ended up winning the Super Bowl, but you have Washington going 5-12, just a complete shit show. He says he actually regrets that decision. I can understand getting behind the original decision to go to the Commanders, as Jaden Daniels was coming off a successful rookie season, leading the team to the NFC Championship. Everything was going in that direction, but lo and behold. So now he wants to get back and reunited with his former team, the Denver Broncos. And honestly, why not? Bring him in as the rotational linebacker, pass rusher, whatever the hell you need to. I don't see any reason why adding a player of that caliber, you guys got the cap. Why wouldn't you want to upgrade and bring a fan favorite back? That's my opinion. That's okay, though. Texans running back coach Danny Barrett views David Montgomery as a 3-down back. Now, surprise, surprise for the former third round pick from the Chicago Bears that later on went into Detroit and ended up making the Sonic and Knuckles team up with friggin' Jamari Gibbs. Like, I feel he could have had a lot higher numbers if teams would have just stuck it out with him. Honestly, as a Bears fan, I'm sad we let him go when we did. I thought he was going to be our starting running back for the next however many years, but they decided to keep going in the other direction. Cheapest option. And then we signed DeAndre Swift, which didn't turn out too bad. So either way, he's viewed as a 3-down back. They've had issues the last few seasons with the rotating backs. Now, Woody Marks, who is the last season's leading rusher and rookie going into his second year this year, hopes to form a dynamic duo tandem like they did in Detroit. Now, really, there's nothing why they couldn't. And that would really help CJ Stroud in the fact of I think he holds on to the ball too long. I think that's what it is. Because, man, he was getting pounded around last season. In other news, Colts have notified everyone that Adam Vinatieri's League of Collegiates is not over. The former NFL kicker is bound for the Indianapolis Colts Reign of Fame, basically. They're going to induct the former 3-time All-Pro, member of the 100th anniversary team, and the only player in NFL history to have 250 field goals and 1,000 points for 2 different teams. I want you to fathom on this, though. Okay? On average, an NFL kicker will kick 1 to 2 field goals per game, right? And then plus however many extra points. So, in most cases, let's say they score, 10 points in a game, right? We're being nice. We're giving 4 extra points and 2 field goal attempts. 250 points over, especially a 16-game schedule back then. Now, 1 extra game can go far enough, but the man defined a generation of kickers. He won 4 Super Bowls, 3 with New England, and a 4th with Indianapolis, which was against my Bears, by the way. Now, I think this is really respectable for a man that gave so much for the league. He is only one of 5 players to ever play to the age of 46, or better. You know what? I like Adam Vinatieri. And it's an honor to even report this. It's nice to have the recognition go out to a kicker that defined what the position should be. And what I mean by that is when it came down to the clutch, he pretty damn near never missed. I'm pretty sure he had like a 95% or better freaking conversion. Maybe 90. Let's just give him 90, right? He was very accurate when it came down to crunch clutch time. So congratulations, Adam Vinatieri, on being anointed in not just one, but 2 Arena of Fames, as he's also in the Patriots, and Hall of Famer. So congratulations. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, played in Buffalo at the end of last year after being traded midseason. He is wanting to get back and lobbying to get back with the Bills, so he can be a form tandem with DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer. The list goes. You got Keon Coleman. He wants to try and solidify that wide receiver room. And honestly, why not? He'll come in on a veteran minimum more than likely, or at least enough to get within the cap so the Bills aren't going to have to start reconfining shit. He was one of their go-to receivers in the playoff loss in Denver. And to have a guy that has interest around the league lobbying for your team, especially to take one, a good famous run at a Super Bowl, why not? Take a flyer on the guy. If worst case, he's a 5th wide receiver, right? And also going into the Arena of Fame, but for the Commanders is number 44. Will have his number retired, John Riggins. This man was a beast and a semi-truck as he came running right up the middle. And most of the time, it was from the fullback position. So I got to say, it's really nice to see, since the new ownership took over after John Snyder in 2023. There's been 7 very highly touted former Commanders, players that I guess hadn't been thought of up to that point, which was really weird, because like even Sean Taylor was on that list, and the man was immortalized even after his death. He was a heart and soul of that defense, but he wasn't even inducted while Schneider was owner. This man had an ego to him. But anyway, that's solved and fixed. John Riggins goes in to the Commanders' Ring of Fame. The Seattle Seahawks have sold for $9.6 billion. And to who? Well, let's tell you. Vinod Casola. The former, what was he? Silicon Valley tech distributor. He started the investment firm where he invests in a shit ton of these AI and electronic companies and all of it. So he owns a 3.4% share within ownership of the San Francisco 49ers, which he'll be relinquishing obviously now as he buys majority ownership of the Seahawks. He's worth, I believe I read, about $13.6 billion. So, you know what? I think the Hawks fans of the NFL world should rejoice. You have a guy who has interest in the league, has already proven to buy little stakes of ownership, and cares about continue the winning of the franchise. Otherwise, why would you go and take on a $9.6 billion purchase? Seahawk fans, rejoice, as I don't think you're going to have one of those cheap owners and trying to save every penny. These guys will make sure you stay competitive. So that was an interesting little thing, as former Allen family will now be out of the Hawks organization. Stephon Diggs, which number 2 wide receiver is better than me? That's what he said in a most recent interview with the media. Honestly, he's one of those guys that can compete for a number 1, but he'll be your number 2. Most teams have their number 1 figured out. And why would you not take a flyer on a guy like Stephon Diggs? He had over 1,000 yards last year, only 4 touchdowns, but he was Mr. Consistent on catching that goddamn ball whenever it was thrown his way. I don't know. Maybe you're the Commanders. Maybe you're looking to call him up since the whole Brandon Ayuk situation has gone to shit. And Miami Dolphins offensive tackle Patrick Pant? Pant? I don't know. I wrote it so quick. Either way, the guy played 2 seasons with Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if his eyes were cross-eyed as much as Tua's were, but I think it's going to be a fair competition between Tua and Mike Penix Jr. for the starting job in Atlanta. My hot take, anyway. Rams left tackle Alaric Jackson. This one, I didn't even know this one happened, but he was arrested back on June 9th on suspicion of felony of domestic violence. Now, to the reports I read on the police reports, the cops were called out to the scene, whatever the hell it was, middle of the night kind of thing, and he was being videotaped by, I'm guessing, a fan or something, but they were videotaping him, and he was trying to stop them from videotaping him. I don't know. There's construing reports. I don't know how much it goes both ways, but either way, his sentencing is being assigned to the felony domestic violence. And what that is, it's assigned to the pre-filing division. My bad. So because of this, the felony domestic violence assault charge that was placed on him is being placed in remission, I guess, is kind of how it came across to me. While this is still being investigated, things can change, but for the moment, this allows the Los Angeles Rams the authority and ability to kind of handle it in-house. Which, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. If it isn't anything, whatever, it gets wiped away. But if Jackson is found guilty, this could be very bad for the young man, as just last year he signed a 3-year extension worth $54 million, and he was an undrafted free agent. I hope that it goes in your favor, kid. I hope you can protect Matthew Stafford for the entirety of your contract, and we get to see some really good division football in the NFC West. And the final story of the day, we got good old Baker Mayfield. So in season 3 of NFL Quarterbacks on Netflix, he has recently divulged information, like he was wearing a sleeve to cover the bruises from his torn bicep that he suffered in week 3. He also suffered a torn MCL and PCL in week 2, continued to play on them, in that course of time, he was an MVP runner-up candidate. He was 12-1 in touchdown to interception ratio. He had the Bucs at a 5-1 record. He was on pace the year before, where he had 41 touchdowns. The injuries started piling up. Week 12, he goes down with an AC joint that he took against Los Angeles. And I remember seeing that hit. He got beat to shit. The guy literally grabbed him and basically yanked him down, slamming his shoulder into the goddamn ground on a Hail Mary play at the end of the second quarter. This could be why a contract extension hasn't popped up in my feed, information, or nothing else. He's currently in the final year of a 3-year, $100 million contract he signed as the extension after his 1-year prove-it deal with the franchise 4 seasons ago. Honestly, Baker's 31. He's willing to tough it out. First, you need to get the guy a little bit of pass coverage so that some protectors can actually keep him standing upright. After that, there's no reason Baker can't be one of the elite top 10 quarterbacks of this league. There just isn't. His football IQ is there. The arm talent is there. You just got to keep the goddamn guy healthy. And that is not a fault on him, so why wouldn't you lock him up? Especially if you can lock him at maybe, I don't know, another subpar contract in comparison to some stupid-ass contract like that Dak Prescott, $60+ million. or whatever the hell the new highest paid. Like, honestly, these quarterback contracts are getting out of hand. There's no reason. I know they take a lot of flack. There's no reason a guy should be getting paid that. And if that's the case, then tackles should be getting paid as they protect the blind side. I wouldn't pay Tampa Bay's guy necessarily because he couldn't keep Baker upright for the whole goddamn season. But hey, what do I know though, right? I'm just a podcast guy, and you're the people out there listening to this crap. But anyway, that's all the time we got for today. Re-sign Baker Mayfield, and Tampa Bay might have a competitive team for the next decade. That's it. That's all. This is the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Julio. You can catch us every Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock General Mountain, everywhere you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Be safe, take care, and we'll see you here next week on the BearDown Corner.